Beautiful souls that find this video. Today we are going to be reviewing the Cat Tarot. If you are new to my channel, every Wednesday I review a new deck selected by my participating audience on my social platforms. Feel free to check out the links below to participate as well and vote. Now let's get on to the video. This is a tarot deck, guys, so this already has 78 cards, and the guidebook comes with 108 pages. The illustrator and author is Megan Lynn Cott. If you love animals, and especially cats, I would recommend for you to get this tarot because it's honestly very funny and very useful at the same time, because if you have a furry friend at home, I bet you're gonna relate to a lot of these cards and a lot of their pictures, because this tarot was designed to reflect a lot of variety of cat personalities and ages. So you'll see a lot of adult cats, a lot of kittens, and so many different types of breeds that also play into the meaning of each card. But you don't need to be knowledgeable in cats, don't worry. It does come with a guidebook, but I will definitely mention that the guidebook is very simple. So I would definitely not suggest this to be your first tarot if you've never owned one before. This deck comes with one hard case. It's so cute because there's a little cat peeking out on each end. And it does come with a guidebook, and I do want to talk on this a little bit because I really don't like the guidebook too much. Because some of the imagery doesn't really relate to the original tarot meaning, or, you know, illustrations, if you would call it. And some of them are very confusing to read. When I first got this, I had to refer to this guidebook a lot, and I will mention that there is not that much of an explanation. It's barely half a page, and the text is really small as well. So it's just very helpful to have prior knowledge, because you can apply your prior, knowledge to the knowledge that you would absorb in this guidebook, because it does talk a little bit about the cat's personality. So if you really don't understand what's going on in the card, just refer to the guidebook. It's going to be really short, but it's also really helpful for you to apply your intuition. So this is going to help your intuition if this is one of your first decks. I'm sorry guys about that disturbance. Really great quality about this guidebook is that it actually provides you information with different types of tarot spreads. So if you want to do something a little bit different than the traditional 3-card spread, the past, present, and future, you can check this out, and it'll have so many options for you and explain them and give you visual representations on how to lay out the cards. The dimensions of these cards are 5.4 inches by 3.4 inches. And if you guys are wondering how thick the deck is with all of the cards together, it is about 2 inches thick. All right, guys, let's discuss durability. I will definitely say I'm a little bit disappointed with how flimsy these cards are. They are extremely thin. I don't know what kind of paper they're made out of, but on the edges, they will like warp and honestly a little bit like rip open. If you know what I'm talking about, sometimes the paper will like move away from each other and then it would actually end up ripping the card open. I've never had that, but I am now recognizing that that is a possibility, so I'm taking that into account and I'm becoming more gentle with these cards. I've only had them for a few months, so that's why I'm going to mention I'm a little bit disappointed so that is the only problem I have with these cards. But I will say the imagery does not fade. My color has not faded. The back has not faded, but the edges are a little bit warped. So it does make it a little bit difficult to shuffle. I don't know if you could tell, but the cards now have like space between them, because the cards are now like warped and they have bent a few times. The first time the card has bent in between the deck, I swear my heart broke. I was so sad because a lot of the other oracles and tarots that I have usually don't bend like that. So I was just really shocked. And this is one of my favorite decks because I just find it to have so much personality. So I only use it sometimes during readings. It's just so adorable to me. And it was one of the first gifts that I received when having a social platform. So I just value it a little bit more than the rest of the tarots. Now we are going to go over the ability to interpret this tarot. What kind of level of tarot and experience should you have before purchasing this? Honestly, I would give it a 6 out of 10 when it comes to interpretation for two main reasons. It would be very helpful if you have a cat at home or you have had experience with, being near your cat and interacting with a cat, because otherwise, if this is your first tarot or you've never met or owned a cat in your life, you're probably going to be very confused on what it means and why that would relate to tarot at all. And also, it would be very helpful to have knowledge and, experience with tarot, because a lot of these cards don't really line up with the real meaning of traditional tarot. So interpreting these cards are very difficult. I only give it a 6 out of 10 also because I think they're really cute. I am able to interpret both ways, so I do find it very silly and adorable and just a cool little deck to have. Give you a little bit better understanding, I will explain how each element in tarot is represented in this cat tarot. For an example, the wand is represented by playing time, having fun, being silly, being a kitten, just enjoying life. And when it comes to pentacles, they are represented by food and treats. Every time in each imagery, the cat is either eating something, rejecting something, or chewing on something with the mouth. And with the cups, it's usually the cat is represented drinking water, spilling a cup of water, or drinking out of a toilet. Actually, that one was really cute. The swords is represented by claws, teeth, and other sharp edges. I just want to warn you guys, if you prefer your tarot to have its title represented at the bottom and have its own little border and section, this is probably not the tarot for you, because this tarot actually represents each element with a particular symbol. For an example, the pentacle, the wand, and then the cup, and then the sword. And each number is represented by a Roman numeral. So if you are not familiar with Roman numerals, you definitely need to find out how to read them, so it would be easier when you're actually interpreting the cards, because it would be really difficult and annoying to look up what Roman numeral it is every time you pick up a card. On to level of difficulty. Okay, out of my 3 options of beginner, intermediate, and expert, honestly, guys, I would not recommend this for a beginner because of the fact I would recommend for you to have prior knowledge of tarot and also having some knowledge when interacting with a cat, because if you've never met a cat in your life, you've never seen one, never owned one, you probably won't really understand why this would relate to tarot, and you won't find so much meaning in it, and maybe you won't even find it as funny, because some of these cards are really silly the way that the author represents the card. If you have cats at home, you will definitely understand. Like, for an example, the tower. It is so funny. When I first got this gifted to me and I opened it, I looked at the tower card and I thought it was so funny. They're on their little cat tower and they're just jumping off, going separate ways, very much having a similar imagery to the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. I definitely recommend this for an intermediate and expert reading. I'm not saying a big beginner cannot get it, but I would definitely not suggest this to be your first tarot. You would definitely find it very confusing and it would probably throw you off way too much. So it would just be really helpful for you to at least know what meaning corresponds to each title, because like I said earlier, there will not be real titles on this tarot. So if you just don't want to give yourself extra hassle, don't get this tarot. Okay, my loves, let's discuss price. On Amazon without Prime, this retails for $20. And if you do buy this at a Barnes & Nobles or a local metaphysical store, it will be retailed for $19. And in the UK, it would be 18 euros. So guys, we're getting to the end of the video, and on my review videos, I always do a overall rate of this deck, of all the advantages and disadvantages of it. And overall, I would put it at a 8.5. And I'm giving it the half and giving it a lot of points because it is one of my favorite. It is so adorable. I have 2 furry cats at home, so I do find it really silly to, use this at my job, to be able to kind of relate this from my personal life to my work life, and a lot of the imageries are really creative, so I do say that it's very unique from other tarots. However, if you do not know anything about tarot or cats, it does knock a few points off my list, and I really just don't like that it doesn't have titles at the bottom. Like I said earlier, I do find it difficult to kind of understand which card it is sometimes when I'm in the middle of a reading, because sometimes I kind of forget which Roman numeral it is, whether it's a 6 or a 4. That's what happens a lot of the time. But otherwise, I really do like how the cards are represented. There are titles on the characters and the major arcana, if I did not mention that already. I also lost a few points due to the fact that the cards are not that durable. Like I said, I don't even get to use this tarot that often due to the fact that I just don't want it to break on me. I don't want it to rip. I would be really upset if it ripped on me and I was not able to use it, because I just don't want to have to go and buy another tarot. So if you want something that's going to be durable and you're not going to have to replace in like 2 to 3 years, or maybe even less depending on how often you use your decks, yeah, probably not this deck for you. Overall, guys, if you are trying to improve your intuition and you want a unique tarot deck in your collection, this is probably the deck for you, because it's really funny, it's very creative, and it really just forces you to use your intuition if you don't know what the card means and you don't want to look up what the meaning is and like what the numerology is and things like that. So it's just really helpful to kind of use your intuition to decipher what the meaning is just based off the illustrations. Otherwise, if it's for business and you're an expert, you know, it's just really fun, and all of my clients always compliment me on it, because a lot of spiritual people do have cats at home. So it's just really helpful to have a deck that does relate to some people's lives. Stay to the end of the video. Thank you so much, guys, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see me next week and see continuous videos posted by me on this channel, please subscribe. I post every Wednesday, and I do like to post pick a card readings as well as various reviews, so go check out my review playlist. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Have an amazing day and week.